what is Google Tag Manager? Google Tag Manager is a free tag management solution, and it works in conjunction with Google Analytics, but it is a completely separate platform. Google Tag Manager, or GTM, allows you to easily deploy code snippets, and these could be conversion codes, event codes, or even tracking pixels through tags which are fired based upon rules that you set up. So how does this work with Google Tag Manager? After you install the container code on every page of your site, and you configure some tags within the GTM interface, Google Tag Manager will monitor all of your pages. Once a trigger is fired, such as a page view, Google Tag Manager will automatically record that data relevant to the tag that was fired and report that back to analytics. You simply place one container snippet on every page of your site, and that's it. Now, placing the code on every page of your site can usually be done very simply, depending on your content management system or CMS, by using the overarching header and body templates. This should alleviate the tedious process of coding each page individually.
And Tony, that's exactly what I was going to mention first here. If you're not using Google Tag Manager out in the audience currently, you might be individually coding all of the various pages of your site for Google Analytics tracking, which means different events that you might be tracking throughout the site aren't necessarily unified and might be tracked individually for certain sections of the site or certain pages. So Google Tag Manager as one container helps the folks in the audience and the folks at home to have one unified set of coding throughout their site. Is that correct, Tony?
That's correct. You'll have one container code on every page that will contain all of that code that you want to fire based on tags. So let's look at a use case. This can be extremely helpful in cases where you need to record events that are happening, such as clicks on a new homepage banner or even buttons that don't have time to wait for IT to go ahead and code. You can simply create the event tags within Google Tag Manager, create the triggers that will tell Google Tag Manager when to fire those tags, test what you've created, and then publish those tags to your site. And that's it. Now let's break down some of the GTM components and discuss these tags, triggers, containers, and variables. First, we'll look at the tags. Tags are snippets of code that tell Google Tag Manager what to do. Some examples of tag templates that are available in Google Tag Manager. As you can see to the right here, there's over 8 featured tag templates from Google. Now you'll recognize some familiar tags here, such as Google Ads, Google Analytics, even Google Optimize and Google Surveys. But in addition to those, there's also 66 third-party tag templates that are currently available right now. Some examples of what those tag templates could be would be such as a LinkedIn tracking pixel or even a Bing tracking pixel.
And I think that's really important for everybody to hear and hear reiterated. So Google Tag Manager, although it is a Google branded product, will track all of the various pixels and tags that a marketer needs to track, not just Google product related ones or Google Analytics website traffic related tracking.
So that's correct. And in addition to those third-party tag templates, we also have 2 custom tag templates that we can use. So some good examples of those tag templates would be for a custom HTML. I would say some of the most recent one that I have done is a Vimeo tag, which is a video player that you can use on your website. This would be put into a custom HTML tag. Custom HTML would also be great if you're trying to inject script or coding into your website without actually having to hard code them. In addition, a custom image tag might sound a little bit different, but this could be used for a lot of pixel placements on your website. So again, relating back to those third-party tag templates such as Bing, if you have other advertising, I'd say the most common ones are pixel placements within custom image tag templates.
So depending on your needs, there might be an existing template, there might be a template that can be customized, and as you just alluded to, Tony, these are all things that we can assist with whenever there's new deployment of tracking.
That's correct, because it can get confusing on which tag templates to use. Even before, when Google Tag Manager first came out, some of the AdWords conversion tags, now Google Ads, were done in custom HTML. But as you can see to the right, we now have custom templates right from Google. Okay, so let's talk about triggers. A trigger tells Google Tag Manager where and when to fire your tag. So as you can see in the GIF to the right, I'm playing a video. So if I wanted to track some of the clicks that were happening, the trigger type such as the click would fire based upon play or pause of this video. So we're able to actually see play and pause on YouTube, and an additional feature with YouTube is you can actually track the percentage viewed, which is really nice. But in addition to those, we could also trigger tags based upon page views, other user engagements, and even custom event, timer, or history change.
So that's obviously really, really informative for any of the content marketers out there. If you're spending time creating video and you're trying to put a lot of great messaging into that video for your audience, and you want to understand, are people consuming all of that video, or are they only consuming up to a certain point? Where are they dropping off? Maybe it's consistent over time that people are dropping off in the same sort of spot. Maybe that's good because that's at your call to action. So they're dropping off because they're doing the next thing you recommended they do, but maybe it's poor because maybe it means that people aren't interested in your content, and you can use this type of data, I think, Tony, to really be able to formulate more data-driven content strategy in the future.
Perfect example, Christy. I would agree with you 100% on that. Triggers are great to be able to set up based upon those actions your users are engaging with on your website. Now let's talk about something else called variables. Variables help simplify and automate your tag configurations. Currently, right now, there are many pre-configured or built-in variables that are available in Google Tag Manager right off the shelf. Some of these overarching variable categories are pages, utilities, clicks, forms, and even videos, but there are many more. You can also configure your own custom variables to align with your website content management system, or CMS. So let's break down a little bit further what variables are and kind of give you an example of when these could be useful. So let's say that you want to track an event that can occur on multiple pages of your site, such as a button click. The event reporting, you want the ability to view which page that this event happened on. So within the event tag configuration, we would want to put the label in this case as the page URL. And you can see those brackets around page URL, which indicates the variable in Google Tag Manager interface. What this will do is by setting this variable in the event label, it will insert the URL of the page that the event occurred on dynamically. So instead of creating regular expressions or regex as they're known to pass in an or statement of multiple pages this could be happening on, no matter where this is happening on, this variable will automatically insert the page URL.
And so this goes back to that previous thought of how Google Tag Manager really helps marketers to unify their tracking, right? Because this is allowing you to set up one event and then having that variable, which could be other things other than URL, like you mentioned, but having that variable then to be able to differentiate where it's happening and report more granularly. Is that right?
100%. Yeah, it's going to make the reporting a lot easier for you to view and also streamline, which is always a plus. Now let's talk about one of the other areas of Google Tag Manager, which is the container. A container is what holds all the tags, triggers, and variables. A Tag Manager container can replace hard-coded implementations of Google Analytics, Google Ads, Floodlight, or even some of those third-party tags. What's great about the container is that you don't have to have these hard-coded examples on your website anymore. One container snippet on every page will hold all of those tags and codes for you.
And I think we want to make note here that today's presentation, as you see, is all about Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics, but we're well aware and work with other tag management tools as well. And so this holds true no matter what tag manager platform or tool you're using. There's one container that's replacing all of these additional codes and kind of streamlining them together, as Tony said. And the benefits of Google Tag Manager aren't just that it's a Google product, but the ease of use and the ability to really scale implementation. So I think that's great, Tony, but I appreciate that you mentioned that, this is a general statement about containers, basically.
That's correct. And another great segue into what we're going to talk about next, which is features and benefits. So some of the benefits of Google Tag Manager is that you're able to track and collect those ad hoc marketing initiatives effectively and accurately, which is always great. You have turnkey tag templates that are available in Google Tag Manager right off the shelf. So no need to worry about getting custom HTML or coding experience. These tag templates are already available in there for you. Another feature that Google Tag Manager has is an awesome, easy to use error checking and debugging mode. So although you might be very perfect in the way that you code or create tags for your website, having this error checking and debugging to always double check is always great to have. And of course, that will reduce the strain on IT department. So not only is it going to help your IT department not be worried that you're publishing things live to the site that could be breaking because you're checking them first, but also because you're not going to have to go to your dev or IT department to add more things to their queue and wait for those to get coded to the website. Additionally, you're able to publish those tags within seconds, which will help speed up this process. And like we discussed on the last page, clearing up all of that hard-coded information that's on your website and pushing it into one container is going to remove it, which will then give you faster page load.
So what would you say, what percentage of the time now, Tony, when we are working with a new brand or a new client, if they're using hard-coded Google Analytics code right on the page, are we 100% of the time moving them to Tag Manager? Is it more like 70% of the time? What would you say?
100% of the time, definitely. There's nothing but benefits with going to this tracking method with Google Analytics, and it's going to make everything a lot easier, whether it's internally at other companies or internally at our agency, to be able to track new creatives, new marketing initiatives, and everything is just streamlined and it's a lot faster.